Today we are going to discuss about becoming an effective elementary teacher. Although it is almost impossible to define an effective teacher, but we will discuss some of the points, some of the issues that go on to make an effective teacher as it has been observed by experts and responded by learners. What will be the most important condition of becoming or calling somebody an effective teacher? That would be an effective teacher would be one who is able to augment learning in her students. What is the final outcome of our teaching? The final outcome must be that our learners are able to learn more through our help, our interaction, that is classroom interaction. So an effective teacher would be one who helps learners learn more and faster. So a teacher at elementary level, at secondary level, at senior secondary level or higher education level would have different methods and qualities to augment learning. We cannot have the identical or same qualities of a teacher who is teaching to a 6-year-old, that is class 1, or to an 18-year-old at the college level, because at every level the child is different and the methods of imparting learning or imparting the content would be different. Because every child at every stage transforms. So the same child who had different methods of accepting or hearing a lecture or interacting with teacher in the classroom at 6-year-old, or when the same child goes on to secondary or senior secondary at the age of 14 or 16, will have entirely different acumen and methods of reacting. So the same strategies that we adopt for teaching to class 1 and which would be considered to be effective, to be efficient, will not be the same for teaching to class 5 learner, because the learner would be about 11-year-old and he or she would react differently to what we do. Say, for a 6-year-old who has come out of the family for the first time and missing his parents, your strategy for teaching would be different. You will perhaps have to replace a mother or parents and behave like a mother in the classroom. But as the child grows and goes on to class 5, the strategy would be different. So the strategy of teaching will have to change from class to class, from age group to age group. Continuously refine your classroom process and method of teaching. No strategy is final. We continuously need to evolve. What does that mean? That means that before going to a class, you have to know who your learners are, what is their age group, from which background they come, what type of families do they come from. You cannot have the same strategy in different schools. The clientele, the learners in one school may come from one background and they would have a different method of approaching them. Say, to explain this, if you are teaching in a rural setup and your children come from families which are first generation learners, the parents are not educated, they have never been to school, so your strategy will have to be different. But if you are teaching to a class where your students come from families which are second or third generation learners, they are already exposed to content, they know a lot of things, have a different strategy to approach and to negotiate the content. They will not expect you to explain everything in greater detail. But if the children come from families which are first generation and they have no input from families, their parents are not able to help them, you will have to have a different strategy. Let me elaborate on this. If your children come from a family where there has not been a culture of education, perhaps you will need to tell them the importance of reading, writing and education. Whereas if children come from families where they have already educated parents, they have been to college or they are educated, they would already have counseled their children about the importance of education. So let me go back to the initial question, who is an effective teacher? If your children of class 1 go back home and tell their parents what they have learned, they are able to speak a few correct sentences, they are able to tell their parents what they have learned, their parents will get encouraged and send them to school. But if you are talking at a level which is not befitting them, they may not learn, they may not get encouraged to remain in class. So you have to decide through your interaction with the learners what you are going to teach and how you are going to teach. Every child, every day is a new child. The parents might have scolded the child before coming to school. The child was feeling lethargic while coming to school, and he or she has been pushed to the school. Now it is your responsibility. Our job is very difficult. We are mother or father or parents to large number of children in the class. The expectation from us is huge. Parents at home manage 1, 2 or 3 children, but we in the classroom manage large number of children, and